trade Steph Curry? Mike Dunleavy just opened the door to a nightmare Warriors fans never imagined. The franchise icon now controls his own fate, and Golden State may be dangerously close to losing its last championship window.
I mean, let's be honest here. Like, Mike Dunleavy needs to do his damn job. The Warriors hasn't been relevant since Bob Myers was leading the charge. And when I say relevant, that means actually being able to compete for a championship. What moves has he made that has scared the rest of the league or has had Steph Curry walking into the arena with a confidence level of we actually could get it done? I know some people may say Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was popular, and there's no knock to him, but he wasn't a powerful move. I heard they was in the sweepstakes for Giannis. I heard they was in the sweepstakes for LeBron. Well, I know one thing, Bob Myers, usually when he's in the sweepstakes, he actually goes and get that player and find a way to get it done. You're talking about a guy in Steph Curry who played at an all-NBA level last year when he was healthy. It's on Mike Dunleavy to do his job and surround him with the pieces that he need to actually go compete for a title and get out of a tough Western Conference.
I'm pretty confident Steph will finish his career here, but ultimately it's his call, his decision. Whether that's allowing his contract to run out and move on, or look, if he comes to me and wants to be moved, Joe and I will talk it through. We wouldn't love it, but he's earned the right to do where he wants to do those things. So, but as far as the messaging or any idea that he would be anywhere else, that's not a thing we're looking at or he's looking at.
I wish you guys could have seen Ramona's face when he was saying all of that. If he wants to be moved, we'll move it. Obviously, people on X and social media started conspiracy theories. Tim, what do you make of it?
I just don't understand why the general manager put that out in the air. I don't think this was some well thought out point that Mike Dunleavy was making. I think he was just speaking and not thinking, to be honest with you. If you're going to talk about trading or having a not just a superstar, a legend, an icon, talking about moving on from him, doesn't Steph need to be the one to start that conversation? Why is the general manager putting that out in the air and putting Steph in a position where what do you think he's going to be bombarded with on media day? Questions about this.
Look, as somebody who often talks too much and needs to be told by the producer in my ear to rap, I empathize, right? I understand. But
happens to all of us, Ramona.
Do that. The way he said it was like he just kept going too, and he was trying to dismount, maybe I shouldn't go there. Nobody's trading Steph Curry. Steph's not asking to be traded. He's going to sign an extension. The Warriors have 6 of their 7 next first-round draft picks, and the one that they don't fully have, they have up to 1 to 20. They're in pretty good position going forward. Yes, I know Jimmy Butler's out, but they're building around Steph.
And he kind of wound himself into the corner that he didn't need to go. But I just say it's not as frantic a situation. Steph Curry is not the type of superstar that's going to see a Zoom comment and suddenly, a situation changes. Bombarded at media day. I will probably ask him about something at media day, and he'll do what he always did. He'll say, I want to be a Warrior for life. I'm committed here because he's about as low maintenance a superstar as there is. And as far as every signal that I'm getting behind the scenes and everything he has ever said publicly is he expects to be a Warrior long term. And the reality of Mike Dunleavy's comments is all he was saying is Steph dictates his future. And if Steph dictates his future right now, that means he wants to be a Warrior.
But that was only the beginning. Because while Dunleavy's words sparked the controversy, the Warriors' actual situation may be far more fragile than it looks. And the next detail makes it even more unsettling.
Now welcoming in our senior writer who covers the Warriors very closely, Anthony Slater. What can you tell us about their plans for Steph Curry and Mike's comments?
Well, number one, I can tell you I was on that call the other day, that virtual call. It was a good read by y'all. It was casual. I'm sure you guys could tell with just the setup, right? It was just a little Zoom work call type thing. And he kind of wound himself into the corner that he didn't need to go. But I just say it's not as frantic a situation. Steph Curry is not the type of superstar that's going to see a Zoom comment and suddenly, a situation changes. Bombarded at media day, I will probably ask him about something at media day, and he'll do what he always did. He'll say, I want to be a Warrior for life. I'm committed here because he's about as low maintenance a superstar as there is. And as far as every signal that I'm getting behind the scenes and everything he has ever said publicly is he expects to be a Warrior long term. And the reality of Mike Dunleavy's comments is all he was saying is Steph dictates his future. And if Steph dictates his future right now, that means he wants to be a Warrior.
And Slater, the schedule is now out. What's your biggest takeaway?
15 back-to-backs for a really old team.
Ooh,
that's number one. Number
that's
two,
brutal. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and I would say 28 national TV games for a team that Vegas has under 500. That would tell you that the league thinks Steph's gonna be on the Warriors because he is the reason they're getting all those national TV games. And then they just got to survive that first half of the season because Jimmy Butler and Moses Moody, they're expected to play this season, but they have no target date at this point. Jimmy's in China this week. He's getting back on the court, but, I'm still kind of penciling January, February range. So they're going to be very shorthanded on the wing for that first half of that schedule.
Slater, thanks so much. Always appreciate your perspective.
Trade Steph Curry? That question alone is enough to send Warriors fans into panic mode. Because Mike Dunleavy just said something that should never have needed to be said out loud. If Steph Curry eventually wants to be moved, Golden State would listen. Now, to be clear, there is no indication Steph wants out. But that doesn't make Dunleavy's words harmless. Curry is 38 years old, still the face of the franchise and still capable of playing at an elite level when healthy. After everything he has given this organization, the Warriors have one job left. Build him a roster that can actually compete. And that's exactly where the pressure on Dunleavy becomes enormous. Because if Curry isn't the problem, then the spotlight has to move directly toward the front office. Let's be honest. Mike Dunleavy needs to do his job. The Warriors haven't looked like a true championship threat since the Bob Myers era, and that's the standard Dunleavy inherited. Jimmy Butler was a good move. But was it the kind of move that made the Western Conference panic? No. There were reports connecting Golden State to enormous names like Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James, but nothing ultimately materialized. And that's why the comparison with Bob Myers keeps coming back. When Myers entered a superstar sweepstakes, Warriors fans believed something could actually happen. Now Curry is approaching the final stage of his career. The margin for error is getting smaller. And every quiet offseason makes the same question louder. Are the Warriors wasting Steph Curry's final championship window? And then Dunleavy made one comment that turned all of that frustration into something much bigger. Dunleavy said he was confident Steph would finish his career in Golden State. He said Curry is expected to remain a Warrior long term. But then came the sentence that sent social media into overdrive. If Steph wants to be moved, the Warriors would talk it through. Technically, that's respect. But emotionally, it sounds terrifying. Because we're not talking about just another superstar. We're talking about Stephen Curry. The greatest player in Warriors history. The face of a dynasty. The man responsible for 4 championships and one of the greatest transformations this franchise has ever experienced. So when the general manager publicly discusses the possibility of moving him, fans naturally ask, why are we even talking about this? And that's exactly where the criticism of Dunleavy begins. But according to the people closest to the Warriors, this isn't nearly as close to a trade disaster as the internet makes it look. Anthony Slater's message was much calmer. Steph Curry isn't the type of superstar who hears one awkward Zoom comment and suddenly changes his entire future. Everything we've seen from Curry points in the opposite direction. He wants to be a Warrior. He has repeatedly talked about finishing his career in Golden State. And that's important, because Dunleavy wasn't announcing a trade. He was basically saying, Steph controls Steph's future. And right now, Steph's choice appears to be staying. That's why the trade Curry storyline needs context. The real controversy isn't that Curry wants out. The controversy is that Dunleavy made the possibility sound public when there was no reason to make it part of the conversation. Now, every time Curry speaks, reporters can bring it up. Every media day, every press conference, every off-season rumor. One sentence has created an entire storyline. But while the trade rumors may be overblown, the basketball problem facing Curry and the Warriors is very real. Golden State has a major advantage that shouldn't be ignored. The Warriors control 6 of their next 7 first-round picks, giving Dunleavy valuable flexibility for future moves. But assets only matter if you actually use them. And that's the part Warriors fans are waiting for. Because Curry is now 38. The team is coming off a 37-45 season, and the upcoming schedule won't make things easier. Golden State faces 15 back-to-backs, a brutal challenge for an aging roster. Jimmy Butler and Moses Moody are also expected to miss time early in the season, leaving the Warriors short-handed on the wing. Then there's the television schedule. The Warriors still have 28 nationally televised games because the league knows exactly what Curry represents. He is still box office. Still must watch. Still one of the biggest stars in basketball. But the question is whether the roster around him is good enough to make those games matter in April and May. And that's why the real nightmare isn't Steph Curry demanding a trade. It's something much more painful. The nightmare is Steph Curry staying loyal, staying committed, giving Golden State another chance, and the Warriors failing to give him the roster he needs. Because eventually, age wins. Eventually, the legs slow down. Eventually, the championship window closes. Curry has already done his part. Now it's Mike Dunleavy's turn. The Warriors don't necessarily need a miracle. They need aggression. They need creativity. They need a move that tells Steph, we are still trying to win. So maybe Curry never asks for a trade. Maybe he signs another extension. Maybe he retires wearing the same jersey he wore when he changed basketball forever. But that doesn't let Dunleavy off the hook. It makes the responsibility even bigger. Because Steph Curry has earned the right to control his future. And right now, it appears he wants that future to remain in Golden State. So the question isn't, will Steph leave? The question is, will Golden State do enough to make sure he never has a reason to? And Warriors fans already know the answer is sitting directly in front of Mike Dunleavy. Your move. Thank you for watching Sport Current. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video to support the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss the latest NFL and WNBA news, breaking stories, game updates, trades, and the biggest moments in American sports. Stay tuned for more updates, and we'll see you in the next video, right here on Sport Current.